Hi, I'm Liz Forrest, and today on the Community Dialogue, I have Jonathan Lawrence here with me, and he's going to be expanding our knowledge about the Eat Greater Des Moines food project that we have going on in our state. So I'm super excited to learn a little bit more about this program and when it came about, and just to hear a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I'm the value chain coordinator of Southeast Iowa and Eat Greater Des Moines. So it's a new position that's officially been named as a position. It's something that's been going on in food systems for countless years. But yeah, part of my job is to be part of the talks and relationships that go on with getting food on our plates. And yeah, I'm just super thrilled and thankful to have a job like this and have an influence on my communities.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you are impacting Des Moines? And is it just Des Moines, or is it more so like a nationwide program? Is this Iowa, or what type of program does this stem from?
Right. So really the position is in Southeast Iowa. So that's kind of like Wapello, Jefferson County, Louisa County, Des Moines County, a couple other counties, and it's really just to have an influence on the aspect of people, I would say, getting more local food into their areas. A lot of the food we know, or a lot of the things that are grown here in Iowa are not necessarily for our plates.
Yeah.
So a big thing is trying to support the farmers that are growing food that we can consume, and just get them more into our homes, our grocery stores, our food pantries, and just any other place where you can really get food, farmers markets, things like that. So.
That's awesome. So with it having the Des Moines logo, there's also different sections throughout the state then that serve those other areas, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So it really, I mean, the name is Eat Greater Des Moines, so it did start in Des Moines.
Okay.
But since I've come on, we've kind of went with this agenda of Eat Greater Iowa. So it's not just about Des Moines, it's about the whole state enjoying supporting local food and supporting our local farmers. So yeah, that's really the idea, is Eat Greater Iowa, more than just Eat Greater Des Moines.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as far as when you come in contact with these farmers, like how do we create like this like partnership to help like the local farmers in the area get into these stores? Do they contact you? Is there a process that you have to go through? How does this happen?
So with this process, so far with my job, it's really been getting in contact with the food hubs. So food hubs is kind of like the intermediary from the farmers to consumers.
Okay.
So they kind of are the ones where they'll either aggregate and hold food and then get it to the place where it needs to go, or they will be somebody who's doing the delivering. So for me, I've worked with a food hub in Kelowna by the name of James Nisley. That's kind of been, most of the work I've done so far. And that's helping him get more community partners. So for instance, here in Fairfield, I was able to get in touch with the daycare center here and try to get them more local food as part of this grant called the LFPA grant, which is the local food purchasing assistance program. So it's essentially to stimulate more money into the communities to support local farmers.
Awesome.
So a lot of times we hear, local food is just so much more expensive than the food that we can just get at Walmart and anywhere.
Yeah.
So this is kind of to help alleviate that and kind of stimulate more of that. So.
That's awesome. And then as far as the types of food, like what types of things can people see coming into this? Is it organic? I mean, are they just like pesticides? Is like there a delineation between the two? And like what kinds of foods, fruits, vegetables?
Right.
Like what all do you have?
Right. So with James specifically, he has a company called Organic Greens.
Okay.
So he kind of specializes, and I'm sure if you went to some of the grocery stores here in Fairfield, you've seen microgreens that are from James. But he grows a lot of stuff: cabbage, sweet potatoes. It's mainly like vegetables.
Okay.
And yeah, I wouldn't say all of it is organic, but it's a good amount. Good amount is organic, and I think the idea is just to get local food. I think that's the biggest thing. Everybody kind of has their like, okay, this is the best type of food type arguments, and like, yeah, we can always have those arguments, but I think always getting local food from somebody who's, you know, within 50 miles, 100 miles of where you live is always going to be better than getting food from several states over.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I think that's awesome. So you're really kind of helping not only the people and the businesses in the area, but you're also helping like the farmers who are growing. So it's like kind of a win-win, all about, you know, the whole connection. So for people who would be interested, like farmers or gardeners that are out there growing their own vegetables, like the mass produce, is there the opportunity for them to connect with you through this organization to help provide for their community, or if they even wanted to donate like excess? How does that work? Do you guys have a plan?
So yeah, with that, it's about just trying to get in touch with your local food hub. That's usually the best opportunity. I'm sure at the end of this video I'll have my information as well, so if you ever wanted to get in touch with me personally, I would more than be willing to help out with that. But yeah, it's kind of, the food hubs are kind of the ones that are able to find a home for your food. Essentially, you know, a lot of times people have, like you said, excess of food, and then it's just about figuring out who could take that. So that is part of my job, to just find, you know, local pantries, soup kitchens, places that could use that excess of food and, you know, use it well, instead of it going to landfills and it becoming waste. So yeah, that's another thing that like Eat Greater Des Moines is really popular for in Des Moines, is the food rescue stuff and the gleaning. So yeah, things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then is there education that comes like with this? Like, is there any type of an education component to help like people with eating healthier? Or how does like that factor into it with the Eat Greater Des Moines?
So I would say with the health part and like how to, you know, prepare these foods, that's something that, you know, just by having, you know, talks with people, I think those things kind of naturally just come about. Like somebody finds out about, let's say, we get bitter melon a lot of times during this time here in Iowa, and people are like, bitter melon, how do I, you know, make that? And then just through conversation, you just kind of figure out, oh, it's really good with this, and, you know, not so well, you know, with, you know, just by itself or something, you know. So I think it's just kind of something that naturally happens when you just communicate with people. And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the job, is that I'm just like, I'm really talking with a lot of different people. I'm talking with restaurants, I'm talking with food hubs, I'm talking with farmers, I'm talking with food pantries, just all the people that are involved in the food system, and just trying to figure out ways that we can, bring in more of the community food aspect that we all love.
That's awesome. I think that's great. And then we have some different like programs already in Fairfield. Do we have like any involvement with you with these groups now, like helping them, like the free meals that are coming out, and then anything that you guys are partnered with right here in Fairfield for our community?
So far I've been able to work with the Lord's Pantry a little bit. Lord's Pantry is like doing amazing work, and I was actually able to find out about them while I was at MIU last year, and a lot of times when we had excess food, we would actually just give it to them, and you know, they always are able to find a home for you know, any kind of food and any kind of household supplies and stuff like that.
The Lord's Cupboard is a very awesome food pantry that we have, and they do a lot for the community. And I know that definitely is a very utilized program.
Absolutely.
So even just having conversations with them, they have had just like so many families coming. So when they're not open and they're not available, this is another opportunity like to connect with you and find out what other resources are available. So that's super awesome. And then even just like restaurants and business owners who are looking for like those fresh local items, it sounds like a great opportunity for them to like get in contact with you, saving on the shipping and the trucking and the quality of the produce that they're getting. That's amazing. So yeah, that's great. And the organic component is fantastic as well, as we worry about pesticides and those things moving forward, especially.
No, it's scary how normalized using pesticides and stuff like that has become, in today's society. So yeah, anytime you can get organic sources, or even if they're not organic, just talk to the farmer and see like, what they're actually doing with how they're producing the food. A lot of times people don't go for the organic standard just because it's a lot of hoops that you have to go through.
Yep.
But if you actually build that conversation with the farmer, you'll see that like, oh, they're actually growing stuff organically, but they just don't have that label. So I think it builds incentive to like build a relationship with the people that are actually growing your food. You know?
Absolutely, because then you really know what you're getting,
exactly.
as opposed to what it's claimed to be. Yeah, I think that's amazing. And then you have like those resources available, and then if there's somebody within the state even that we may not have it super local, then they're able to like connect with somebody else within one of the other communities and to bring that fresh produce to our area. So,
right. Yeah, because there's so many hubs around Iowa that something that's coming from the Des Moines area, that they can't really find a home in that area, and we have food hubs that go into Des Moines to deliver things, and they can bring it back here, and there's always opportunities there. You just have to be a little creative, be willing to talk to people, and just see what's out there. So.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Are there any other programs or incentives or anything that you guys are doing that you'd like to kind of talk about?
Yeah, I think the one that has me most excited right now is the LFS grant, which is Local Food for Schools. I think that's the thing that like I want to have a much bigger impact with, just because a lot of times people aren't actually aware of certain grants that are out there that will make it easier to get local food. And it's not a grant that's just going to be around forever. It's a few years, and when organizations and government organizations see people actually give, their attention and their support for things like that, then it can be more of a regular occurrence, So Local Food for Schools is essentially just getting local food for lunches, snacks, after school type stuff. And essentially, it's a government grant that the government gives money to the food hubs. They have a budget then to purchase food from the local farmers, and then it's just up to the schools to decide what foods that they want.
That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds like an amazing program because, Jefferson County, that's been an issue, I feel like, over the last few years, especially where there are a lot of people in need, and the districts, there's so much, availability in that grant to bring things to our community. So I think that's amazing that you're working on that and helping bring that to our community.
Yeah, so, it's super exciting.
Yeah,
super exciting.
That's awesome. Are there any other programs or anything that you guys have that you're working on, or new grants that are, kind of being looked at?
Well, definitely part of my job is to always kind of look at other grants that are available, whether it's to help out food hubs, to get better equipment so that they can better serve the communities. But another thing that we do a lot of is really the food rescue stuff. In Des Moines, that's like really the biggest thing that we do. So a lot of times, and this is something I kind of want to bring into Fairfield, is we have an app that is called the Food Rescue app, Food Rescue University app. And essentially it's to get volunteers to see when there's food coming from restaurants. and they can go themselves and pick it up and then bring it
Wow.
to places that are, that could actually use it.
Yeah.
So it's an app that we're still trying to roll out. We've had about 1 year, I think, was the anniversary, I think, a month ago. And that's something I'm looking to get more involved with and just find ways to have less waste,
Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely wonderful. And then we've talked kind of like the schools and the younger, generation. Is there any programs that you have that are geared towards like the seniors and senior housing and communities and things like that?
Well, that kind of comes from the LFPA app
Okay.
grant that I was talking about earlier. It's kind of up to the food hubs to figure out different places that they want to bring that local food to.
Okay.
And senior centers is something that's gotten brought up because I think that's maybe sometimes an overlooked place to actually get local food.
Yeah.
That's something I've been in talks with in the city in Louisa County, Columbus Junction, actually,
Yeah.
with somebody who's working in a senior center. And we're actually trying to get community fridges there.
That's
so
awesome.
community fridges is also something I wasn't able to bring up. Is a pretty big thing. We've done over, I think, 70 community fridges in the company since its inception. So yeah, that's a big way of kind of empowering the community to like take responsibility for their food and like and not be so reliant on, the national chains and things like that. And it's like, okay, no, this is our community fridge. We're going to make sure that this is taken care of, that there's always food for people and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Jonathan, for coming in to let us, learn more about this amazing opportunity that's here in our community and all the things that you're bringing to us, not just locally, but throughout the state. So I just want to thank you for that, and I appreciate all that you're doing to help with, stopping the hunger issues and problems. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.